Hello everyone, I'm Ankit and you're watching StudyIQ IAS English. In our today's video, we'll find out why was MGNREGA, the scheme that provides right to work in India, was stopped in the state of West Bengal. There was some very big reasons behind it, so we'll discuss that and why has it been resumed right now because of the intervention of Supreme Court. So this we'll try to understand in our today's video. Now the notes, if you want to download them, they will be made available on this particular Telegram channel, ATS Live. So you can go to this Telegram channel, download the notes, and while you're at it, please do not forget to subscribe to the channel also. So let us start our today's session by understanding the context of our today's development. Now the Supreme Court on October 27th ordered the union government to restart the Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme, MGNREGA, in the state of West Bengal, which has been suspended for the past 3.5 years. Now, in its decision, the Supreme Court dismissed the concerns highlighted by the central government as it was challenging the previous order passed by Kolkata High Court, which asked the union government to resume the scheme in the state of West Bengal. Now, obviously, when this scheme has been resumed in the state of West Bengal, it creates many economic and rural impact. First of all, for a long period of time since MGNREGA was introduced, Bengal has been one of the biggest beneficiaries of this scheme. For example, in 2022, in the past few years, Bengal has gathered anywhere between 51 to 80 lakh people in the past 10 years or so per year. So these were the amount of beneficiaries that were getting employment just because of the scheme MGNREGA. And as a result, when the scheme was suspended, it led to loss of wage security for people of West Bengal. It led to rural liquidity problems and absence of social safety net, which is very essential for us to live a day-to-day good lives. So that is why this brings a greater economic and rural impact in the state of West Bengal. Now, as I am talking about MGNREGA, we need to have a bit of information relating to the scheme also, right? So let us understand this. Now, MGNREGA, short form for Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act, it is one of the world's largest work guarantee program. It was launched in 2005 under the control of Ministry of Rural Development. And the primary objective of this scheme was to guarantee at least 100 days of employment in every financial year to an adult member of rural household, any rural household for that matter, who is willing to do public work related, particularly if that work is unskilled manual work. So these people get at least 100 days of employment. There are certain provisions where additional 50 days of employment are also provided in case of natural disasters, okay? But at least rural people are guaranteed that they will get at least 100 days of employment under the MGNREGA Act. And which kind of job they need to perform? Unskilled manual labor work, okay? Now, the best part about this scheme is that it provides a legal guarantee to work, that it aims to address the cause of chronic poverty by providing a right-based framework. So this makes employment a statutory guarantee, a guarantee that has been enforced by the Parliament of India. So this is not a welfare handout. This is not a scheme that is providing on the good graces by the central government. Rather, this is a scheme which guarantees in the act that yes, you would be provided at least 100 days of work. And if you're not provided 100 days of work, the government is liable to provide you unemployment allowances. So that is why it ensures income security to rural people in India, guaranteeing them work. And if they are not getting work under the scheme, they'll be getting some money as an unemployment allowance. And one very important thing is there that at least 1/3 of the total beneficiaries have to be women under the scheme. Now, the wages that the people get when they work in MGNREGA related project, that is a statutory minimum wage, which is linked to agricultural laborers in Minimum Wages Act of 1948. Now, this wages, it varies state per state, right? And this varies state per state. So the lowest amount of wages that you get in India is about rupees 241, which is available for people who are working in states like Arunachal Pradesh or Nagaland. And the highest amount of wage that laborers get is in the state of Haryana, that they are getting 400 rupees of wages for every day's work. Now, naturally, these wages are indexed with inflation. So the index of CPI, agriculture labor, is used to change this wage every year based on the changes in CPI AL index, right? So that is why this provision makes it indexed to inflation. Now, what we got from this particular slide is that the wages that are provided to workers across India is not the same. It varies state per state. In some states like Nagaland and Arunachal, you get 241 rupees for a day's work, whereas in states like Haryana, you get 400. So these are the minimum and maximum amount of wages. And these are revised every year by the government based on the inflation levels in CPI agriculture labor. Now, the funding of the scheme is provided by both union and union and state government. Union government bears 100% cost of three components, that is wages of laborers, administrative expenses, and the cost for social audit units. And third, 3/4 of total material cost used in this scheme, like bricks, cements, etc., these are borne by the central government. Now, this also includes payment of wages to skilled and semi-skilled workers, which is concluded in this particular part. Whereas the state government, it bears the cost for costs of unemployment allowances. 1/4 of the material cost of the scheme, 3/4 is borne by union government, 1/4 of this cost is borne by central government, and they also take care of the administrative expenses of the state councils of MGNREGA. So this is how funding of this scheme is shared between union as well as state governments. But as you can understand from this slide, majority funding is provided by central government. So without central government funding, state government won't be able to implement a MGNREGA-like scheme on their own because of the financial burden. So this is the core issue why this problem became prominent in the state of West Bengal. Now, union government used its power provided under Section 27 of the MGNREGA Act, and it suspended the funding of this scheme in the state of West Bengal. Union government claimed that there have been instances of financial misappropriation of fund. Government of West Bengal permitted execution of non-permissible works. There were splitting of projects just to bypass the approval norms, and there was lack of transparency and accountability on the part of West Bengal government. So based on this reason, central government suspended the funds provided to West Bengal. Now, naturally, these findings were based on central inspection reports that are submitted to central government. And despite repeated communication from the central government side, the government of West Bengal did not rectify their mistakes. So, once this funding was suspended on the part of central government, no MGNREGA work has been carried out over 3 years since March 2022 in the entire state of West Bengal. And this was the reason furnished by union government. Now let's see what the government of West Bengal has done. The TMC-led government has repeatedly appealed for resumption of funds, and nephew of the CM, that is Miss Mamata Banerjee, Abhishek Banerjee, has led a delegation to Krishi Bhavan. Krishi Bhavan is where headquarters of Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare as well as Ministry of Rural Development is situated. Now, the state government has claimed that centre's action were politically motivated and was punitive just because the West Bengal is ruled by a government led by an opposition party. And therefore, to tackle this issue, the government of West Bengal decided to file a petition in the Kolkata High Court seeking the resumption of this scheme. Now, in June this year, Kolkata High Court directed the MGNREGA to be resumed, and central government, unhappy with this decision, filed a plea in the Supreme Court of India. And hearing this matter, Supreme Court on 27th of October has directed this central government dismissing their plea, saying that they should resume the MGNREGA work. Now, this timeline is not very important. What is important is the judgment, and what kind of changes this judgment makes. Let us analyze those changes. Now, this issue and the judgment given by Supreme Court tells us many things. First of all, that yes, misappropriation and non-permissible works are very serious violation. But when central government, against penalizing the government, it decided to stop the funding altogether, it led to suppression of citizens' right. What is this right? It is a legal right of work that the Parliament of India is providing through the MGNREGA Act, right? So when central government decided to stop funding, it was a measure of fiscal control which is allowed, but you shouldn't allow this and if it suppresses the right of citizen which is guaranteed by the Parliament of India. And this problem became a very big problem. Why? Because blanket fund suspension without clear accountability, first of all, hurts the beneficiaries, and against the principle of cooperative federalism, both Union government and West Bengal government were at fault because they were failed to create a joint audit or rectification mechanism so as to deal with this issue. Originally, this issue shouldn't have been stopped. It should have been dealt by both government appropriately, which was not the case. And that is why Supreme Court intervened, directing the Union government to resume. And this also brings a very big issue. This issue is politicization of welfare delivery. Ideally, this delivery is a legal right. So it should be a legally mandated on both the governments to provide the beneficiary. But when central government has the fiscal leverage over states, particularly when that state is ruled by opposition party, this gives central government the right to deny the funds. But at the same time, when the right or the funds has been denied, there was no fast track conflict resolution mechanism. So as to ensure that the people are provided with the right, court decided to intervene. And especially when there was no mechanism for central and state coordination on this issue, right? So this is why court had to intervene, because there was no way in which this situation could have been solved politically. And this shows why you need court's intervention. Now, what kind of precedent that this decision sets? First of all, it may embolden other states also who might seek judicial remedy against central government fund suspension. And this we have seen even in the cases of implementation of PM Shri scheme, where the funds have been stopped for states like Kerala. Earlier it was stopped for Kerala, now it has been stopped for states like Tamil Nadu and West Bengal. Why? Because they haven't signed the MOU with central government for PM Shri scheme. And it may also push central government to institutionalize a transparent penalty mechanism where there is no requirement to suspend the funds. Rather than penalizing them, the government can bring partial suspension, guided or graded compliance deadlines, so that the situation does not come where you have to suspend the fund entirely, stopping the schemes altogether. There should be a middle path where central government can penalize the state government if they don't adhere to the limit, while ensuring the rights of the workers and beneficiaries are ensured. And this also means that it strengthens the right-based welfare model in India, moving from benevolence of the government or executive and enforcing accountability to whichever government is concerned. Now, what is the procedural requirement for resumption? It is also very essential. Now, whenever a state needs funds for MGNREGA, they need to get their state labor budget approved by Ministry of Rural Development Empowered Committee. And in these labor budget, the states estimate the demand for unskilled work and highlight the list of projects that they will implement under MGNREGA. And only when this budget is approved by Empowered Committee of Ministry of Rural Development, then only states can generate demand for funds using the portal, that is MGNREGA soft portal, and only then they will get the money from Union government. Now, this shows that despite the order given by Supreme Court, there still exists bureaucratic control, and it is a matter of de facto veto that the bureaucracy has, despite the fact that this is a legal entitlement of the beneficiaries and this is a direction by the judiciary, that is the Apex Court of India. So this is the procedural requirement that may become a hurdle later on. Now, before solving the practice question, there is an important announcement. This relates to our long-term batches. Now, students who are looking to start your preparation, I will personally ask you to not go for 2026, rather aim for 2027 or 2028 exam. Why? Because in 2027, you get about 1.5 years of time, and in 2028, you get about 2.5 years of time, which is very essential if you have to develop a solid foundation, get all the classes covered and do your revision altogether. And you have very good options in terms of 2027 and 2028 batches. So you can consider taking admissions in one of these batches. These are foundation batches, and every of your GS and CSAT requirement is taken care of, right from prelims to mains till interview. And one more very important thing, if you use this code ATS Live, you will get maximum discounts on our platform. So if you subscribe to this course and use the code ATS Live, you will get discounts of as much as 7,000 rupees, which is a lot of money, right? So please use this code, take admissions in whichever course you want, and this code is also applicable for optional subjects. So if you use this code, you will get maximum discounts there also. Now, I have one practice question that I'd want all of you to solve. Consider the following statements regarding MGNREGA. Which one of the following three statements is or are correct? Please let me know in the correct comment section. The ones who answer it correctly will get a thumbs up from my side. Okay. So this is all for today's video. It was very great interacting with you. We'll see each other again tomorrow. Please have a very good night.